Today we're going over the review of the Concept 2 biker after owning it for a year. I'm going to tell you about my experience with the bike over the last year, tell you about the pros, the cons, things that I like about this bike, things that I figured out I don't like about this bike over the last year, and at the end of the video I'm going to tell you whether you should buy this bike if you're on the market to buy a new piece of gym equipment. So I'm excited about this review today. This bike is a heavy hitter. So Concept 2 only makes the best of the best cardio equipment. So we're going to go over the review of this piece today, tell you whether I'd recommend buying this or not after owning it for a year. Before we hop into the review, if you're watching this video, obviously health and fitness is a priority to you, and I want to help you reach your goals. So what I'm offering you today is a free macro calculation. I left a link down in the comment section below where you can go fill out some information. I'll do the rest. I'll get your macros back to you. I'll tell you how much fat, how much protein, how much carbs you need to be eating to reach your goal. So after you watch this video, make sure to go down to the comment section below, click on that link, fill out that form, and I'll get your macros back to you. I'll tell you how much carbs, fat, protein you need to eat to reach your goal. As always, we're going to kick this review off with the pros of the Concept 2 biker. So this bike overall just has a really great design, and one of the cool things about this bike is the ability to change your resistance up and down. That's a big feature that compared to a lot of other bikes in its category, like fan bikes, where you're not necessarily able to change the resistance up and down. There's just one constant resistance. One huge benefit of the Concept 2 biker is the ability to change your resistance up or change your resistance down, just like you would on a Concept 2 rower and a Concept 2 skier. I think that's a huge advantage that you can use in your training to focus on different things and challenge your body in different ways. One huge benefit of this is that it just allows me to use this bike for a lot of different styles of training. It's going to add a lot of functionality and a lot of versatility to your training. Say that you want to use this bike for low intensity or a warm-up for some active recovery. You could throw that damper down low, just work on getting some blood flowing. It's not going to make it super challenging. It's going to be a great way to get some active recovery, keep heart rate low, or even warm up before a workout. Say that you want to use some repeat intervals. We can keep that damper setting in the middle, some of them between like 4 to 7. And you're going to be able to do some interval training with the Concept 2 biker. And to say that you want to do some really heavy high resistance intervals with the bike, we can even create that damper up to 10, and you're going to have a good amount of resistance on that bike. So one of the huge benefits of this bike is it just allows you to add some versatility and some functionality to your training that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do with a fan bike like an assault bike or eco bike or a ZX bike. Another great pro of this bike is none other than the great monitor on the Concept 2. Now, if you used a C2 rower or a C2 skier, you know that the monitor is it's top notch. It is one of the best monitors out there. It calculates a lot of different metrics like calories, your meters, your watts, gives you split times. You can go and you can set up intervals. We can do games. There's a lot of fun things and cool things that you can do with this. And in my opinion, a great monitor is very beneficial when you're training, because it's going to give you feedback on how to improve. We don't just come in and we don't want to do the same cardio workout every single workout. We want there to be some sort of progress. And without numbers and without a great screen, we can't track our progress, we can't track our numbers, we can't track our outputs, and therefore everything's just stagnant, it's boring, it's not going to be fun. So having a great monitor is really beneficial to, one, focus your training and really focus on progression and getting better, but also just create some sort of mental simulation where you're using this piece. Another great pro of a bike like this is, just like the Concept 2 rower, is that flywheel really allows it to be very durable. The resistance is provided by air, so the damper setting where it's set is going to either let more or less air flow in, which is going to cause more or less resistance. And there's just not a ton of moving parts, and that is beneficial for you, meaning that there's going to be less breakdown, there's going to be less maintenance, it's just going to last for longer. So where we have these bikes, we have them in our personal training and small group training studio. They get used literally every day, whether it's through a warm-up, whether it's at a workout, whether it's at a cool down or active recovery, or we're just doing work on the bike and we're just trying to get some movement in. These things get used all the time, and there's been zero maintenance whatsoever over the last year, which is huge when you're buying workout equipment. You don't want to buy something that breaks down on you after 3 months of owning and got to invest money to get it back and functioning. These bikes have been great. We use them all the time, and that's one thing that I really think is a very big pro about the Concept 2 biker, is it's just going to be durable. It's going to last a long time, no matter if you have it in your garage gym or home gym, or if you have it in a gym that you loan. It's just going to be very durable, which is a huge pro bike. And the last thing I'll say about this bike is it's just bougie. I mean, it's just a cool looking bike. I think that Concept 2 made a really good decision when they decided to go to the black and yellow color scheme. They used to have like that white gravel color scheme. I think that the black and yellow is just a bougie, cool, elegant type of color scheme. And I think overall this bike just looks badass. Does that affect the usability of the machine? No, but I think it's cool to have nice things, and I think it's cool to have things look good in your space. I mean, if you're building out a gym, you want it to look good. If you have a gym that you own, you want it to be presentable and you want it to look good. So this bike's gonna look good in your gym. It's gonna be very functional, it's gonna be very durable. You're gonna be able to use it for a lot of different things. And overall, there's just a lot of good pros about the Concept 2 biker. If you guys are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I post weekly fitness content to help you get the best year of your life. And I'm currently doing a series right now where I'm training to get the best year of my life for a wedding in September. So if you're interested in that content, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of that. Next, let's talk about the cons of the biker. And one of the biggest cons that I found out over the last year is if you're looking to do just purely high intensity interval sprints, I think that this bike is not the first bike that we should look at. I think that there's other bikes out there such as a Rogue Echo bike or an assault bike, or even using some things like push sleds or even things like the rower, treadmills. Those types of things are going to allow you to do really high intensity, high analytic threshold work. So if that's what you're looking for, you can do it on this bike. You can change that damper setting. You're going to have to get your RPMs up, and it will create a stimulus. But I think that there are other pieces of cardio equipment that are more suited if you're looking for just doing really high intensity intervals. Another con that you could think of, I don't think this is a huge con, this is just something to be aware of. When you really get cranking on this bike, I mean, this bike is not super heavy. It's pretty light weights. And if you're really cranking on it, or if you're a larger athlete and you're really getting your watts up there, there may be a little bit of movement from side to side, but really that's the way it is going to be with any sort of spin bike. And not that this is a spin bike, but there might be a little bit of playroom from side to side. As long as everything's screwed in, you're not going to fall off. Nothing's going to be going crazy. Don't think that this is a bad quality bike. It's just not a super heavy bike. So if you're really cranking on it, there could be some side to side movement. Nothing crazy. Like I said, I've never seen anything crazy happen, but just something to be aware of if you're buying this bike. So before we talk about if this thing is worth it or not, let's talk about the price. So that's what it really comes down to at the end of the day. Is the price worth the equipment that you're buying? So these bikes have decreased since I purchased it. This bike is now $1,100. Now that doesn't include taxes or shipping or anything like that. That's just your base price. And to me, if you're looking to buy a cardio piece of equipment that really has a lot of functionality, that you can do both high intensity, low intensity, you could even do some interval, medium intensity work, I think this bike is one of the best at what it does. And I think it's super versatile. I think it's going to add a lot of functionality to your training. And for me, I think that $1,100 is worth it. Even after owning it for the last year, I can confidently say that I would highly recommend this bike. I gave it a perfect 10 out of 10. This thing is awesome. There's very few cons to this bike. Like I said, the only con that I can think of is if you're looking to just do really high intensity threshold work, you might want to opt for more of a fan bike. It's going to give you more of that anaerobic style training. But if you're looking for one bike that could do it all, warm up, intervals, high intensity, going to be good for active recovery, it's going to be durable, it's going to last you a long time, I think the C2 bike is definitely top of the class on this bike, and I think you really can't go wrong, and I would highly recommend this bike. Like I said, if you want your macros calculated, go down to the comment section, click on that link, fill out that form, and I'll send you back in carbs, your fat, your protein that you need to eat to reach your goal. If you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. I left my other gym equipment videos down in the description below. Make sure you go watch those next. I'll leave a video for you to go watch your next. Make sure you check that one out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.